One can love and one can hate. Separate flames that burn the same. Cross a thin line to become torn. Close to a point of no return.
Hey, welcome! Feels good to record again and I hope you're doing great as well. So, Nilou. I love Nilou, but I also hate Nilou. And as one can guess from the opening quote, there's a really thin line between those feelings and it does leave me torn. Here's why. Whether you consider her strong, fun, or not, you can't possibly argue with her design and animations being really polished and detailed. You'll just look stupid. But yeah, they went really hard on her, and sure, it's just to make you pull, but I still appreciate it. They're one of my favorites in the game, and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't mind a gorgeous anime girl dancing on my screen when fighting. I've never thought I'd want it, but now that I have it, I do like it. Additionally, I just like playing her and I think she's fun, which is obviously something very subjective and you may disagree on that. After all, I think Gani is fun, which is probably more unpopular opinion. Getting more into the nitty-gritty stuff of her power level and all, and yes, I know about the interview, please let's just pretend for a moment it doesn't exist. Nilou opens a completely new playstyle, which actually works pretty good. I mean, it's not amazing outside of a multi-target situation, but if you think they are going to give us another national, you're delusional. Delusional. And by the way, yes, I tried Nilou in National, of course. Spoiler alert, she's not the best. I strong-heartedly believe that Archons might be the only characters that will be really universal going forward. Anyway, Nilou's team makes a clear bloom comp actually do damage and feels surprisingly good. I honestly love the team, despite not having Kokomi on this account. Barbara works surprisingly well and I had even more satisfaction playing without a healer. Well, kind of. You see, Prototype Ember is for me what Thundering Fury is to Zajef. If I can heal without giving up my slot for a healer, I will try it. And surprisingly, I wasn't really struggling because Nilou is just the OG tank. She could be hit by a meteor and still be fine. Moreover, this team is almost a quick swap comp, which also makes not having a dedicated healer easier. Now, this is like playing freeze without a healer. It works when you have a lot of damage, so if you have, let's say, 8 enemies, for example, in one wave, and you take down 4 in your first rotation just from your bursts, you're left with smaller amount of enemies. I always play freeze without a healer on my main account, but on my free-to-play one, which doesn't have that much damage yet, I use Kokomi because it's much harder to execute if you are fighting a lot of enemies at once. And with Nilou's team, it's probably similar. It looks really suicidal because there's a lot of blooms that damage you, but like I said, with enough damage of your own and quick swapping characters in the right time, it's not that hard to play. Wouldn't recommend it though, if you just want to chill and relax. One thing I want to mention is some people, for example Zajef, are worried that with Nahida and the amount of blooms you will produce, you might need 2 healers for Nilou teams. I disagree with that. Maybe it's because he didn't actually play with Nilou much, but I really think you're gonna be fine with 1 healer. I know it also depends on which character you want to trigger your blooms with. If you build your Kokomi full elemental mastery, then maybe, possibly, you might have some problems. But also if Nahida is your only Dendro, you bring 3 Hydro characters, or maybe even Nahida will be the one triggering the blooms, like, it's hard to tell now. And also depends which Hydro characters you will use, but I just wanted to mention that I am not worried about needing 2 healers. I also tried Nilou elsewhere, like National or Taser. It works, and that's it. You can make it work, but she'll perform worse than basically any other option. Maybe except for Barbara, but that's a maybe. She does feel pretty good to use in those, however, I am an AR60 player. My account has enough damage for 3 characters to carry the team. If it's not you, then it's not worth it. Her passives are useless, and her not having the highest personal damage just solidifies it as a bad choice. Well, I think I'm transitioning pretty smoothly to the next section, so let's continue. First and foremost, her being probably the most restricting 5-star in the game. I fucking hate it. I simply don't get why wouldn't they just make it so her passives outside of an only Hydro and Dendro team have half of their strength or something like that? That wouldn't make her broken. Yelon's passive works like that. Yunjin's passive works like that. I don't get it. Also, Yelan, Xingqiu, Tartak and Ayato exist, so it's not like Nilou would be suddenly the best in National or other teams that require Hydro characters, but she would be at least average in them. As for now, she's performing significantly worse. Yelan is amazing in double Hydro, but she's worse than Xingqiu for Hu Tao as a solo Hydro. She's also not very good in Freeze. This makes Yelan a very good character, but not one breaking the game. I'm mad, if you couldn't tell. I also don't get it from a business perspective. I don't think I need to go into details on why. Better characters just sell better, alright? Now, Nilou's amazing in her Destiny team, but it's average or below average in basically any other. I hate it. I hate this game design even though I love said team. I hate that they took this direction. I hate that it makes me worried for the future characters. I'm afraid they will be doing exceptions for the Archons, but the vast majority of other characters will be just either very average, like Sinnoh, or good, but really niche, like Nilou. And don't get me started on 4-stars, which are just trash in Sumeru and not even niche. You could make an argument for Dory, I guess, and by the way, I thought she was gonna be slightly better at least, but in practice, she's not. Anyway, Cookie exists. Or Prototype Ember Lisa, or Yai. But seriously, Sumeru 4-stars are just worse than ever, and I know almost everybody agrees on that, so it may sound like a hive mind thinking, but that's just objective truth for me. It's kind of tragic that Collie is probably the best of them, and it's only because we don't have that many Dendro options. Talking about Dendro options, Nilou was clearly designed to work with Nahida. I don't know exactly what they showed in the livestream and what is still considered sus info, so I won't go into details on it, but yeah, she's gonna be amazing with Nilou. At least it seems so. And it should be a good thing, it should be great because I'm pulling for Nahida. I should be hyped, right? Well, yes, of course, it's good that two of my newest characters will work together. It's just better, fresh gaming experience. But I hate the idea of it! The idea of releasing a character with a suggestion that they might have a great synergy with a future character. Imagine you're buying a phone which seems kind of expensive for what it actually does and what specs it has, but the company tries to sell this phone as an amazing investment and they suggest in the future update they might add this amazing feature that will make this phone much better. Might. Not promising anything. Now, you may think, you'd have to be stupid to buy this phone. Well, that's only because nobody does it with phones, as far as I know. So you'd smell the bullshit from a mile away. In gacha games though, including Genshin, you just accept the bullshit and the scam. Now, I'm not saying gacha should be banned or something. It's actually much more complicated, so let's leave it for now. Let me just emphasize, I am not saying the whole game's trash because of it. No, I'm just saying this is a wrong path to take when designing a character, and I find it not particularly ethical. Alright, deep breaths. To sum it up, what I love about Nilou is her aesthetics, being fun and feeling good to use, and finally a new original gameplay. What I absolutely despise, hate, and wish was different is her being Okay, I was supposed to be calm. Her being extremely restricted, being good in basically one team, and overall what her design, gameplay-wise, represents. And in my opinion, although other Sumeru characters tell us much about it too, she gives the most insight to the path Hoyoverse clearly wants to take when designing new characters. I sadly can't forget it when playing her, so that's why she makes me torn. Because I really love playing her and enjoy it very much, but those implications I've mentioned are constantly in the back of my mind and just infuriating. Now, I expected her being restrictive and not the greatest, but still I ended up confused. She surprised me positively in her Bloom team, but negatively in anything else. In other words, her Bloom team is stronger than I suspected and has the potential to be absolutely broken with Nahida, but on the other hand, I thought her to be at least slightly better in National and other teams. After all, everything works in National, right? Well, works and works well are two different things. Alright, would I recommend pulling for Nilou? Not unless you like her or her team, or you're just bored. I personally don't regret using my guarantee on her. I like seeing her dancing when obliterating enemies, and I also found her Bloom team to hit super hard, but that's kind of it. That's the team she's good in, and the rest is just... Okay, this came out slightly more ranty than I anticipated, but I think it's a good prelude to a lot of problems with Genshin I want to talk about. I'm hoping you enjoyed it anyway. Let me know what you think about Nilou. Do you agree with me or not? Do you even care? Thank you for watching and have an awesome rest of your day. Bye!